Good morning, FGC.
Is it that time already?
And it's that time already. And today we are dealing in speculation and theories, I guess you can say. There was an interview done, and we're going to check it out right here, where these guys over at Siliconera, yeah, there we go. I was talking about talking to SNK versus Capcom, the first SNK versus Capcom, which was called Fight of the Millennium, I believe. Is being that that actually came out on the SNK game. Oh boy, what was this called even? The SNK Color?
No, it's one of the Neo Geo Pockets.
Neo Geo Pockets, exactly. So this is being ported over to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
So never played it. It looks
it
funky.
was like a handheld fighting game.
I'd buy this for $3.
$3?
Yeah, $3 I'd buy. I definitely buy this for $3.
I doubt they'll sell it for $3. I think they'd sell it for more than that. What's that?
Even $6. I'd buy it for $6. This game looks like super old.
It was on the Game Boy Color, or it was on the Neo Geo Pocket and Pocket Color.
Pocket.
I mean,
when did that come out? Lord, that's like in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s.
That came out around the time of Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
It got buried, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, because Neo Geo doesn't really have big
brand recognition
over here. Overseas, yes, and in like niche circles, yeah, but over here, like as a whole, Neo Geo doesn't have a big pull.
With the release of the SNK vs Capcom Match of the Millennium and Neo Geo Pocket Color Selection Volume 1, Nintendo Switch players are suddenly finding themselves flush with even more classic Neo Geo. That is true. Metal Slug, a bunch of other Neo Geo KOF games, they've all come to the Switch for pretty reasonable prices. Titles, and so they just started talking. Siliconera started talking to them in an interview about bringing more classic games over, like SNK versus Capcom, and the guys from the SNK was like, SNK versus Capcom Match of Millennium was originally a collaborative development effort with Capcom. Has anything challenging or interesting become up in terms of getting these ports together? They say, while it can be challenging licensing games and working with third-party companies, we're very grateful that our good friends over at Capcom helped us make porting this title a reality, much as the spirit of these collaborative titles had back in the day in bringing both companies and players together in a sense. We hope that re-releasing this SVC title after so many years will serve as an opportunity for more releases to come in the future. Ha! What do you think that possibly means, Lone Wolf?
Maybe some things are coming in the future. Maybe there are going to be more collaborations. Quite possible.
Yeah, I'm glass half full kind of guy. Even with Capcom, who is on the Capcom is definitely on the uprise. You know what I'm saying? But if they're re-releasing this, and this is the first CBS game, SVC game, I guess you say, that's coming out. It could be just the a start of things to come. Hopefully, we can get some other re-releases. Maybe Pie in the Sky, a new SNK versus Capcom, lowballing it, but still be good. A current gen of SVC, Capcom versus SNK 2. That'd be dope on current gen consoles.
I'm more of a realist. With all of the round table talks and stuff that's going on, a lot of the different fighting game companies are being a lot more amicable with each other. So I wouldn't be surprised, because they've worked in the past before. I wouldn't be surprised if they re-release something. Working on a new title, I don't think is in the works right now. Okay. I think maybe in the future we'll possibly see something, but I would think that they would probably just re-release something. I would say best case scenario, we do get a port for SNK Capcom versus SNK 2. Worst case scenario, we get SVC Chaos.
At least you gotta play as
or nothing at all.
Ken.
I don't know. Nothing might be better than getting SVC Chaos.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got to play as Angry Ken, and that's got to count for something, right?
Violent Ken, not Angry
Violent
Ken.
Yeah,
Violent
exactly.
Ken. Get it right. You're a Ken fan, and you don't even know Violent Ken.
I mean, you know how many years it was before I played that game? I didn't play that game until 2008. I missed the entire boat. I missed the boat.
I played it, and I was like, this is like a SNK game, but with Street Fighter characters.
Yeah. Violent Ken
Capcom versus SNK SNK just played a lot cleaner. If it just played cleaner, just in general. SVC just was like, it just didn't have the like magic sauce. It wasn't a bad game, but King of Fighters games plays a little bit more stiff, I guess you could say. It plays a little bit more stiff.
Yeah, it does. I remember when the SNK 2 came out on the original Xbox. I bought it, and you had you can play with the right analog stick to do moves. You didn't have to do like buttons or anything like that, or D-pad controls, whatever, which made everybody godlike in the game. Also, what was it? Also, what would be great if they re-released Capcom vs. SNK 2 onto current gen platforms. I don't know if you remember, but between getting into a match, that loading screen was probably about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That loading screen, the game was fun once you got into it. I mean, it is the true love we're making.
Forever to get into a match. So
it is the true love we're making. I mean, I get that, but it took forever to get in the match, even when you were online. And that made it even worse because then you had the connection to get into the match along with like the online connection. It was like literally 4 minutes to get into a match. So that would be cool. And just got me thinking a lot because there's undoubtedly the new KOF game coming out. Street Fighter 6 is around the corner, undoubtedly. And Street Fighter did something funny that I noticed. They season 5, we immediately got the top 4 characters that they were going to come out. They said they were coming out with Dan. They gave us 11. They said Akira's in development, and also Rose.
Rose was the other character.
So usually they would give us one character and just make us wait to see what the other characters are going to be. They give us the silhouettes, right? They gave us all 3 silhouettes. I mean, they gave us all 4 characters basically that are coming out, and then they have one character that's not coming out. And with the addition of with this news and the addition of the crossover event with Power Rangers, I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if it's a SNK or a crossover character from something that makes its way into Street Fighter 5 at the end.
I wouldn't be surprised. I kind of doubt it, but I wouldn't be surprised. Because there's still a couple of characters from there. I would say, if anything, I would think it would be a crossover from a Capcom title. I don't think it'd be a crossover. I don't think it'd be a character from another title. Because I mean, we got Akira, and it's kind of like, ooh, that's like making another rival schools. Like, what's happening, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think
it's a Street Fighter character.
I don't think it's a Street Fighter character. I do think it is. I think it'll be a Capcom title, a Capcom character from another title.
Okay.
But I really don't think it's going to be a character from an outside published game or a collab published game. So
no Kios, no.
I don't think it'd be Kyo. I don't think it's gonna be any of the Rangers like Lord Draken or anything like that.
Terry Bogard.
I don't think Terry. I think because right now Terry's already in Smash too, so I wouldn't think it'd be Terry.
What's the card game that Capcom made? It's called Impid or Intimid or something like that.
Oh no, that was I don't think they made it. I think another company made it and they did like a collaboration with them.
Okay, because I was gonna say the Tepid game.
If I'm not mistaken, let me. I might be lying. I know
that the Tepid game had SNK characters. It had Capcom characters, and it has a couple crossover plays.
Gung Ho Online made it, and they had help from Capcom.
Yeah, it's the card fighting. It's the card game that actually looks pretty awesome if you play. I think it's free to play too. On top of that, on PC or something like that.
It's a Android and iOS.
Yeah, the tepid game. So there is a history of crossover recently, but I guess we'll just have to see. Speaking of crossover games, and I pose this question: if you were going to get a top three, if you can think of three, if Capcom did a crossover game, but not with Marvel, like what would be your dream?
Another SNK title. God. Oh, really? It's like Marvel is what I want more than anything. But another SNK title would be good. I really wasn't a fan of the Street Fighter and Tekken. That didn't vibe with me. I don't think there's really any.
I'm gonna give you one of mine. What about Capcom versus Bandai Namco?
With what though?
Well, Bandai has they got the Soul Caliburs, they got the maybe some of the Narutos and everything.
We've already
got a lot of games.
We've seen what happened with Tekken, and the characters for Capcom are just broken, and they couldn't do Soul Calibur because like weapons, like they tried it with Heihachi being in was it the PlayStation version of Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah, he was OP on that game because I remember the tournaments, man. He had
stuff. So like they had to like up him a little bit just so he can fight characters that have like weapons that have like crazy reach and stuff like that. So
well, yeah, if you bring
only other thing would be Dragon Ball, which I don't think that'll ever happen because of just licensing issues.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the other it's a bunch of anime games. Basically, it'd be a bunch of anime games. So that would just run into about a bunch of licensing issues. So the only thing that Bandai Namco has is their like actual series would be Tekken, if I'm not mistaken, Tekken and Soul Calibur. Outside of that, maybe Arc System Works that'd be kind of neat to have Arc Systems Work game, like maybe like a Guilty Gear Capcom crossover, or Blaze Blue Capcom crossover. Because right now I think the only thing that Arc System Works has done a crossover with is with their own IPs, with some of the stuff that they were playing, as well as bringing Ruby over from America. Yeah. So that'd be kind of neat. I would have to say another SNK title and maybe an Arc Systems Work crossover.
I was gonna say that's my third would be like I said, Capcom versus Bandai Namco. And I think they've got some older games from like the PlayStation 1 days that came. I want to say they got one other fighting game or just that they have under their belt. But yeah.
Bandai Namco?
Yeah, I think they got one other fighting game. I don't know what it is.
I don't think because the Bandai Namco is still relevant. They were like Bandai for like a long time. I don't think they weren't they didn't eat Bandai. They didn't eat Namco or merge with Namco until like I think the 2010s.
Well, I mean, there's, yeah. So that would be one of them. Capcom versus Sega.
Yeah, the only ones that they would have, the only fighting games they've have are that are outside of it being another like outside of another IP, like any type of anime IPs. There's going to be a lot of licensing stuff they have to go through, so you probably won't see that because not only does Bandai Namco have to do licensing through whatever, like Jump or whatever company has it or whatever like that, they would also have to do licensing through Capcom too. Like Capcom would have to do licensing too. And so only thing they have is the Soul Calibur series, Tekken, and that's kind of and maybe Pokken. But the rest of the stuff is basically technically they're I think they're publishing Guilty Gear as well. So
that'd be on the Arc System Works though.
Yeah, so that would be technically an Arc System Works, but everything else is, when it comes to like fighting games, everything it's going to be licensing issues, like tons of licensing issues with other IPs and other companies.
Yeah, so like I said, that's my second. My second would be Capcom versus Sega. So then you'd have all the Shinobis. You'd have Atlas in there, so you'd have all the Persona stuff. And then like the classic Sega type. You could put Beast. What was the game with the Beast?
You could do all of the Persona stuff. That'd be actually kind of neat.
Yeah, what was the man with the beast? He shot fire out. Beast Man or something like that was one of like the first Sega games. Uh,
Beast
um,
Man?
yeah, it was like you would walk as like a Bigfoot. You almost look like, and you would
Oh,
shoot fire from your
Altered
hand.
Beast.
Altered
What are you
Beast,
talking
yeah,
about? Like,
yeah.
Beast Man. I was like, what?
I,
What?
this
Altered
is
Beast.
I'm going back to 6 years old right now.
Oh, come on, man! Like even you don't remember Kid Chameleon and
I
stuff.
don't remember.
I'm going back to those times too, and remember these titles, and they're ingrained in my brain.
Shinobi could be a character.
I think that the interesting thing about that would be trying to figure out like move sets for certain things. They'd have to actually create for some of these characters. They actually have to create move sets for them. So like it was really weird having for Capcom versus SNK. It was really weird having Samurai Showdown characters in it sometimes, but because of the way that the game's played, they like flowed really well with the combat. With making characters that you have to pull from other IPs, I think it'll get kind of weird. Also, would they go with like 2D stuff? Would they go with like a 2.5D? Like, how would they actually like? I think there's a lot of logistical stuff that I'm kind of like. They did. I don't know how it will work.
Yeah, they did the same thing with like Tekken Strider, who has its own game and is originally a game from a 2D side scroller. But
you also got to remember that's their IP.
Yeah, but I mean, there was never a before the superheroes game. I mean, we didn't know how a Wolverine would play or Storm or something like that.
Yeah,
they had to make
it. Well, yeah. Once again, if it's versus, because I mean, was it Smash does the same thing? They have to have some kind of like source material to pull from, and then slap together a character and see like, holy, this
Minecraft Steve, right? Yeah.
I mean, that's why a lot of people were upset with Nintendo when it came to like, why isn't Waluigi in the game? Waluigi hasn't had like a proper title, so you don't know what Waluigi can do. He's been in like a couple sports games. So outside of that, it's like, how do you put a character that doesn't have a definitive game and any moveset to pull from that game and then slap him into a game without just, he has a moveset now, you got your character. It's gonna be odd.
Give me some Earthworm Jim and some Vector Man. Maybe a Toe Jam and Earl character. Like I would love that.
Earthworm Jim would be cool, but I don't. Earthworm Jim's not owned by Sega. What's his name? Doug Tapnell, I think his name is something like that. He's the creator of Earthworm Jim. He still has rights for it. So you would that probably wouldn't happen. That'd be cool though. The other one, Earthworm Jim game.
My honorable mention is Capcom versus Tecmo. But
what fighting game does Tecmo have?
They don't have any fighting games. They just have a bunch of action adventure games, like the Ninja Gaidens and stuff like that.
Does Tecmo still own Ninja Gaiden?
Yeah. Well, isn't Tecmo the parent company of
for Dead or Alive? So for Dead or Alive.
They also have Dead or Alive, exactly. Yeah.
So they would have some characters, but once again, it's just they play so differently. It'd be weird. It's just like when with Tekken, like having Tekken characters in Street Fighter seems to work really well.
Yeah.
Street Fighter characters or Capcom characters in Tekken is just like, well, we just broke Tekken, guys.
Well, we never seen Tekken. We never seen Bandai Namco make a game with Street Fighter characters in it though.
Yes, we have.
Which one?
Tekken 7.
I mean, and he's really
Tekken
good.
7.
He fits really good.
No, he does. He's broken. He broke the game.
I know,
they had to do super balancing to make him somewhat tolerable, and Akuma still broke the game.
But my number one, when I thought about my number one, what I would love to see, Capcom versus Final Fantasy.
That would actually be neat. That'd be neat. So Capcom versus Square.
Yeah.
Capcom versus Square.
Maybe throw a Tomb Raider in there as well. Something, I don't know.
That'd be interesting. But I still see there's so many, like whenever I think of like what are possible like mix of stuff, I think of like logistically how we're like, if I just like throw all like logic into the garbage, there would be a lot of cool like IPs and stuff like that. But in my mind I go like logically and stuff like that. It's just trying to figure out, because I don't want it to turn out like how PlayStation All-Stars did. You had a bunch of different characters from different IPs, and it just mechanically just was like weird and didn't work well.
Well, I mean, fighting game versus fighting game is the what you would want to do, but I mean, there wasn't a Marvel fighting game until Capcom got involved. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, there was Marvel versus
Well,
DC.
that was
like,
that
way
was the
back in
start.
the
That
day.
was the start of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, well, for kind of like superhero stuff, they were the start of a good one, I should say, because there was a couple like fighting games that had like superheroes. Like there was a DC game,
but it was
for, like Super Nintendo or something like that. It was this is weird. I don't like
weird. It was like Eternal Champions almost.
Yeah, they had like Dark Side was in it. And everything.
Yeah.
But when weird. Children of the Atom came out, like
that was when
it changed the game. Like it changed the game of like fighting games for like superheroes and stuff like that.
That's why that's what I was saying. Like I think a game that doesn't have a fighting ground background that you could just create. There's no legacy there, so maybe you just pull from that moveset.
The legacy would be from whatever IP they come from.
Exactly.
So the thing is, like, you have to stay true to the character and also give them
the
like a moveset. Like good mechanics, good moveset. And I think that's where a lot of the like you have to have it'll take some development time for just designing how the characters would actually like play, what their movesets would be, what normals would be, how would they like interact and move in the game and stuff like that. Like there's just a lot to add to it.
So that's my 3 though right there. I would love to see like some kind of Capcom versus Sega, Capcom versus Final Fantasy, which would be Square, like you said, and Capcom retry though. Well, allegedly that what's called a game is still out there. The Tekken versus Street Fighter on the Tekken side.
They're just like
who knows if that's ever gonna happen, but they say it's in development still.
It's been in development since Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Literally, it's been in development since Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Which
that
game's
game's
never
never
coming
out. Just tell us that we're canceling the game.
No,
we do not need a Duke Nukem Forever style event anymore. Just cancel the game.
The longer a game stays in development, the better it is. You know this. This is a fact.
Did you play Duke Nukem Forever?
I got it.
Did you play Duke Nukem Forever? I want you to look me in the face or look me in the camera and tell me that game was great and it took almost 20 plus years to come out.
So that's going to do it for this edition. We've already run long on the show as it is. I'm Randy K.
I'm the loneliest wolf by choice. Don't listen to this man. He's crazy.
Keep playing games. That's definitely coming out. SNK versus Capcom 3. It's a go. And we out. Peace.